Peace and greetings. Courtney here. And in honor of Ruby's birthday that happened last week, I wanted to do a video and share my experience of home birthing. I did have Ruby at home. It was a experience. And if you even have the inclination or thought that you want to have a home birth, I say do it, because that was one of the best decisions that I made. And the path of getting there wasn't easy. So I'll start from the beginning. When I found out I was pregnant, home birthing was in the back of my head, but I didn't know where to start. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know if that was available for me. I didn't know how that worked with insurance, like how much it cost. I didn't even know if it was legal in Georgia. So I just decided, okay, maybe I could just have a natural birth in the hospital. And, that's what I put in my head, natural birth hospital. And I started reading literature, and some of the books I read, I put all of the information in the description. But I read a book, and it was about home birthing, more to say, about a lady who lived in a community, off-grid community, and she was a midwife, and she shared all these experiences of different women, and all of them were like, yes, do it at home. But still, I didn't know. I just was researching how the birth process would go. So later on down the line, I'm like 6 months pregnant. I'm still, back and forth, but I've made my decision. Going to the regular doctors, I've made it. A mentor of mine invited me to an event, and it was, I didn't know what the event was. I was just going to see her, Mama Motion, thank her, because she was a part of this process. I went to the event. I pulled up. As soon as I walk in, I see Black women birthing, and I'm like, and she was a vendor for this event, and it was a panel, a discussion about the melanated women and how they are disproportionately treated and unfairly treated, and options. Different midwives were talking, doulas, and the topic of home birth came up, and it just felt so like divine. I ended up getting in contact with a doula who put me in contact with different midwives. So I just figured, it won't hurt to ask questions. Nobody was trying to take me on because I was 6 months pregnant. That's pretty late. They already got births lined up. But one, I finally got in contact with one. She took me on. She squeezed me in. Angelina. Her company name is Birth of Oshun. And right from the start, she was coming to my house for my checkup. So we was building like a personal relationship compared to going to the doctor. I see 5 different doctors. Every time I go, it's a different one. They barely remember who I am. They got so many people. I understand. You're seeing 20, 30 people a day. You don't have time to get personal with them. But Angelina will come she told me to keep going to my current doctors since I had already started. So I was going to both. First it was once a month, then it was twice a month, then it was once a week. And like I said, it was my relationship with the midwife, Angelina, was very personal. She was finding out things and diagnosing things that the doctors didn't really have time to look at. And it was nice not having to go somewhere for your appointment. I really enjoyed that. But then it came time to give birth. And even throughout, she was telling me, you need to do this. You need to walk. You need to squat. You need to eat right. If you don't do these things, you're going to have a difficult time. Every day I was walking. Every day I was squatting. And, I actually followed her advice compared to the doctor. They're like, you seem okay. Keep doing what you're doing. And so my water broke on July 6th that morning. And it didn't really happen like a big whoosh. It was like literally trickles. It felt like I was peeing on myself. But I called the midwife. The doctors at the office told me, as soon as your water break, go to the hospital because you don't want a chance of infection. Well, I called Angelina. She came over and checked me, and she's like, you're not even dilating yet. 12 hours go by. I'm at home chilling, waiting, walking. That night around 11 o'clock, that's when the party got started. As soon as I thought I was finna lay down and get some rest for the birth the next day, it started. And I called Angelina. She came over. She actually had to spend the night because things really didn't get rolling until the next day. Contractions was 5 minutes apart. I would have to like go to sleep for 5 minutes, wake up 5 minutes. And I'm so grateful that I did my research on the birthing process and read different women's testimonies, because each one said it's like waves. For 5 minutes, it's an intense wave. And if you don't breathe through that, if you don't have control of your breath and your mind to get through it, you're gonna stop breathing. It's gonna be worse. So I was breathing through it and it would pass. I breathed through it, it would pass. It reminded me of the ocean, coming and going. But things really got bad when she started moving down the canal. That's when I was like, but at that point I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't go nowhere. I wasn't about to get in the car to go to the hospital to get an epidural. Baby was coming. And that was probably the worst pain. I don't even like to remember it, because it was like, imagine something, it felt like something was ripping through the middle of me. I was crying, so my mom, we had the birthing pool. I didn't really take too many pictures or a lot of videos, because I felt like it was an experience that I didn't want to be recorded. I wanted it to be. So there's no pictures, there's no videos, there's just the memories. My mom was there, my auntie was there, and the midwife. And it was so like soothing to have people that I trusted surrounding me. Not like random people sticking their hands in my vagina. It was people that I trusted, people that I knew, people that I loved. And finally around 1 o'clock, I was in the pool. Angelina was like, look, you playing? Because it was hard to push because it hurt. So she made me get on the bed. I had my knees was up here. I'm pushing. And then at a certain point, your body just takes over. You're not in control anymore. It's like instincts. Your body knows what to do, and it does it. I was making grunting animal sounds. It was doing it on its own. Like I wasn't even there anymore. And then I know one push, boop, head. And I just felt this wash of relief, like, oh my God, it's over. Oh. And I did another push, boop, shoulders was out. And my mother was there. She was supposed to catch the baby, but she was like, oh, it's slippery. So Ruby literally hanging out. She just like looking around. She popped out eyes wide open, like aware. Because I didn't have anything in my system. It was just that. Then we finally got her out. And I ain't gonna lie, when they lifted her up to put her on me, I was like, ugh. Because she was all gray and slimy. I didn't feel that instant moment of love that everybody said I would feel. I just was like grateful she was out. And they put her on me. And she didn't want to cry. She was just... But eventually she started crying. It was like a little... And nobody tells you that what happens after you give birth. Nobody tells you that you're sore. Nobody tells you that you can barely move. Nobody tells you that you're leaking blood. It's just dripping out of you. Luckily, I ain't have to get no stitches. But nobody tells you about that too. You gotta wash the stitches with a water bottle. Nobody says those things. I thought that after I had a baby, I could do some yoga. I could barely walk. I was literally like shuffling. So sore. But because I did it naturally, my recovery was like this. Like within 3 days, I was back. I was back up and at it. You stay sore for a good week. You need a good 7 days. You also aren't going to fully recover until 6 weeks. And even after that, like it took me like 3 months. And I'm grateful that I had the time and space. I didn't work at this point. And I'm grateful that I had that time, because I know that that's not an option for everybody. Most people got to go back, do what they got to do. But it's all about knowing that the option is available for you. There's different options available. There's different ways to go about it. Like, if you have a desire, it's all about making your birth your experience, making it your experience, knowing how to go about it, taking control of it, not allowing somebody to tell you how you're going to bring life into this world. Like I said, my midwife, she took insurance, but she was a certified nurse midwife, and most insurances cover those. They won't cover just like certified midwives. They have to be a trained nurse and certified midwife at the same, have those certificates. But if you are expecting to give birth soon and you're thinking about it, do your research. Find out, who is in your area. Like I said, luckily I chanced upon that panel discussion, and I found so many people in Atlanta, so many women in Atlanta. Maybe check for your major city. Maybe you thinking about giving birth years from now, but that's something you want to do. I just want you to know that the option is available. There's options. You have to do your research. Get you a doula. They guide you and point you in the right direction. They've done most of the research already. I'm thankful for the doula who helped me. It's all about creating an experience that you want. And sometimes emergencies happen and it don't go according to your plan. Most of the time it don't go according to your plan. But just setting the intention and knowing that you have a voice. You can say, no, I don't want this. Yes, I want this. And, making the experience one, because a lot of women are not having great experiences. They are not enjoying themselves. They are not looking back at their births and saying, oh, that was such a spiritual. No, they are saying that was traumatic. For example, my mother had a traumatic birth experience. They put her on Pitocin. Pitocin, I don't know if you know, is the hormone that forces you into labor. It forces you to have stronger contractions. It forces the baby out. The birth is not according to your body. The birth is not it doesn't go according to a natural state, so it hurts. So you need to get an epidural because it hurts too bad. Then when the baby do come out of you, you don't feel the pushing, so you rip, and then it takes longer to recover. Just knowing and doing your research will have alleviated that, and taking care of yourself and doing the walking and eating right and doing the squats and exercising. All of those tone your muscles to help you have a easy, smooth birth, which I'm grateful that I can say Ruby was a easy and smooth birth. And if you made it to the end of this video, thank you. Make sure you subscribe. More content coming soon. Like I said, some of the book that I read, the doula, in the midwife, are in the description. Just points to get started if you don't know where to go. And yes, thank you again. Peace.